Hello, everyone. My name's Perry. I have von Willebrand's disease type 2A. I'm 70, well, in my 70s anyway, and I didn't get diagnosed until I was in my late 50s. And I live with the disease, and I'll talk about that in a second. But I just want to mention that when I look back now, there was few hints that possibly the disease was in my family because it's hereditary, as you know. And my mother, I can remember, had serious nosebleeds at different times. And of course, she probably had other areas, issues which she would have had, which would have indicated that she might have been the carrier. Anyway, that's what it is. I played sport at a high level for a long time, and I noticed I was bruising. Seemed to be a lot more seriously than some of the other players that I played with, and that was another hint that I had something that was a bit different. But anyway, as I say, life went on, and then about the time, as I say, in the late 50s, I had an operation, a back operation, which was from laminectomy. And the surgeon mentioned to me after the procedure that he had a hard time getting the bleeding stopped. And he suggested I should see my GP about what there may be some issue with myself. So and I had never heard of anything von Willebrand's disease. I knew a little bit about hemophilia and that sort of thing, but nothing about von Willebrand's disease. Anyway, my GP did a number of blood tests, and then he sent me to a hematologist who then did a lot of other tests on me, and I was eventually diagnosed with with von Willebrand's disease. Well, initially I thought, oh, maybe it's something that just you just have to put up with. You can get something that'll fix it, and then you won't have to worry about it anymore. I didn't realize it was an ongoing condition which I needed to be aware of, and also needed to take steps to make certain that I was protected when I had operations or other sorts of things. And I had decided that at some stage that I was going to also get in touch with my relatives, and I'm from America originally, as you probably know the accent, but that was some 50 years ago, and I'll talk about in a minute about going back to my brothers and sisters to see whether they had the same thing. After that point, I decided that okay, let me make sure that in the future, with anything that anything involved bleeding or operations or anything else, that I make sure that I have the proper medical advice and medical support. And I was very fortunate to get that at a hospital and through a hematology clinic. And ever since, my various procedures I've had, which have included colonoscopies, bleeding from the bowel, had an ankle fusion, they've all basically turned out quite well from a bleeding perspective. And I think that's something that needs to be emphasized with people that are diagnosed with von Willebrand's disease. It's not a something that it just will go away. The things that I've learned to do to live with it have been much varied. I mean, I have every once in a while I get a nosebleed. Nosebleeds are very serious for me because it takes me a long time to get them to stop. I've had to learn to the various techniques that have been provided as far as getting a paste of some sort with some certain medications and getting that to stop. Some nosebleeds I've had for 3 days. And it's very depressing, as you can imagine, but it's because of what I have, and I just have to work through it and complete that. Bruises, again, I still bruise very seriously, and it bothers me, and And physios, I had to be very careful what physios I go to get treated. Physios have to know about my condition and how it can be affected. I think, over time, as you get older, the von Willebrand disease is more serious, and it must be with me because, as I said, I didn't realize I had it until I was, as I said, in my late 50s. Probably one of the things that really affects me is occasionally I'll bite the inside of my mouth, either through eating or some other form. You get an ulcer or a sore, and I find that I bleed from those, and that's very, very difficult to stop. I think it must have something to do with your saliva, because it breaks down food in your mouth and tends to break down any capacity for your inside of your mouth to clot and to stop the bleeding. And again, there's other, I've been fortunate to been given information about how to do that, but it does take time. And again, it's something that you have to deal with. The other thing I had is when I had a number of operations where I had a condition where I was losing blood, my iron levels would go down, and I couldn't work out why I was getting so tired. And fortunately, then was able to get iron supplements, and that was able to enable me to probably keep up my strength in that respect. I mentioned before about what I discussed with my siblings. I let all my I have two sisters and one brother. I let them know that I had the disease, and that they should consider about getting tested, because there's a thing hereditary. They were coming from the same genes that I have. They did, and they all found that they don't have von Willebrand disease. So I was the lucky person out of the four that got it. But again, with heredity wise, it does skip generations and come back. I have 4 children and 13 grandchildren, and they're all aware of what the situation is, and some of them have been tested and some will be tested. But there is again, it may be passed down, and it's good that they would know sooner than later that if they're carrying the particular condition. I found that my family understands this, and certainly my wife, she's well aware of the various things that occur because of the disease, and she deals with it the same as in helping me deal with it. And as far as your lifestyle, and it doesn't really affect greatly with that. You just have to be aware that if certain things happen, that you have to be able to deal with them. And I know that I will occasionally we like to walk in the bushes of it. I've had a couple of falls where I've actually had scrapes and bleeding, and we ensure that we get those bandaged straight away, and that they are kept strong until they are able to sort of heal themselves, because again, if they're open, they continue to bleed, and that's not good for anyone in that particular. I would say that the other thing, if people are diagnosed with it, they need to get a good hemophilia center to be part of and to look after them. They should go to hospitals that are capable of dealing with these, particularly for operations. I don't think that you can go to any particular, you might have a favorite doctor you want to go, but you've got to realize whether they're capable of understanding what's involved as far as the treatment of people with von Willebrand disease. And look, that's probably all I can say. I'm not. It's something that, as I say, came to me because you can't pick your parents and you can't pick your and the generations back, but you deal with it, and you just hope that the future generations, if they do have the disease, because of the knowledge that I might have been able to pass on to them, they'll be helped to deal with it. Thank you for listening.